Okay. We're going to return the Wednesday, December 15th, 2021 Board of Education meeting to order. Everyone please silence your electronic devices and we will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Additions and deletions to the agenda since Friday mailing.
Yes, business considerations, we'll be adding 6.17 is a MOA for CSEA. Personnel considerations, we just have a correction to 7.6. We'll be adding hiring a business teacher, hiring a COVID secondary teacher. We have a retirement we'll be adding, and we'll have a leave of absence that will be added and will reflect on my minutes.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a motion for the additions? Mr. Engel, a second. Mr. Ross, all in favor? All right. Can I get a motion for the acceptance of the minutes of the November 17th, 2021 BOE meeting? Mrs. Burns, Mrs. Klein, all in favor? All right, motion passes. We have no awards or presentations tonight, no hearings and petitions. I need a motion for one or all of the business considerations.
Make a motion for 6.1 through 6.17.
Okay, do we have a second? Mr. Hislop. Do you want to call out 6.4 and thank a donation from TCI of New York for $800 for 20 turkey dinners for Thanksgiving.
And 6.15.
6.15 for a donation of $2,000 from SAVIC for our 4 school buildings for the holiday gift distribution. So we thank both of those companies in the community for helping out. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion to pass. I need a motion for one or all of the personnel considerations.
Make a motion for all 7.1 through 7.25. Yes.
Okay, do we have a second? Mr. McFerrin, we do want to mention a couple and congratulate a couple of 10-year positions. We have Christopher Kromzak and Teresa Hislop, so we would like to congratulate both of them. And then we have some retirements, so we will read through those. The Board of Education approves with regret the retirement of Clayton Welch, Cynthia Burns, Bob Dorrance, and Colleen Banaki. So we would like to congratulate all of them on their future retirement. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so motion passed. 8 is informational items only. 9.1. I don't have anything to report. Anybody else want to discuss anything? I know it's been a while since we've been together, since before the holiday. I do think since we last were here, I think the football team made it to the state semifinals, so we would like to definitely congratulate them on a really good season. So that was successful. It was. They had a great run. And I know they had their football banquet on Sunday, and a lot of the kids got some great awards and some seniors that had a great year.
Fame induction.
That's correct. Over the weekend, the RCS Hall of Fame inductions were on Saturday.
Athletic Hall of Fame, because it's not the rate. Do we still have the Hall of Fame, the Academic Hall of Fame?
I was just asking that the other day, in all honesty. I don't remember the designation in the graduation program. Do you remember that? Hall of Fame, along with National Honor Society? I don't think I saw it last year, Brett.
I'm going to look into that.
Yeah.
I was thinking the other day, I mean, the Athletic Hall of Fame is really nice, but those people end up with their plaque on the wall forever down the athletic wing, yet we're an educational institution, and our Academic Hall of Fame is in there for a year, and then they wipe them all out and they put new ones in, if we even have it anymore. That's the way it used to be. It used to be 1 year, and then I think maybe they had 2 years, and then they would move one up and one went out, and they put the new one in the bottom. But
I think
kinda-
it definitely, you hit a great point. We're an academic institution, we're preparing our students for employment somewhere down the line. I think it's a great time for a rebirth or a reminder about that work, and we do celebrate the kids in that way. So we'll look into it, and I'll let you know.
I know that I've talked to Fred before about our neighboring district and them having the cafe, where every year they have an event where they honor both academic achievement, but also they use it to recognize members of the community that have impacted the school district
Right.
through the years.
Yes.
And that's a really nice event that they hold and use a foundation to do.
Yeah, where's the school that I've been to out west of here that has their whole entryway is their district hall of fame, and it's people that went there that went on to do great things. It's people that contributed back to the school. I spent like 4 hours there during one volleyball tournament just looking at all the plaques. It was really that cool.
Cohoes has that. Where were you talking about, Brad?
I'm trying to remember where it was.
Cohoes has that in their athletic
Yeah, it wasn't Cohoes.
facility.
It was a bigger. Oh shoot! It's west of here somewhere.
Cohoes' facility is huge.
It
It's
is.
oversized for the size of the district, but I've seen Hall of Fame, both athletic and academic, in that area. They make good use of their display cabinets there.
This one wasn't either academic or athletic. They may have had those, but this was like a Hall of Fame of graduates who had gone on to do
Oh,
great
yeah.
things. It was people who had given back to the school, or maybe not. Maybe they just, this person was an astronaut who landed on, whatever.
Sure.
And they were in their Hall of Fame. And it was really neat because of the history behind it. They had like 100 years worth of people there. It would take some serious investigation to find out all those people from here, but it's kind of a nice idea. I don't know where we put it.
We've got display case room. We've got a great place to do that.
Okay. Anybody have anything else?
I didn't know if you solved it already.
No, I just had a couple of questions about.
I know COVID protocol because things are changing daily of how we do things. And one of the questions I had is if you have a child that's in elementary school who comes down with COVID, have siblings but in other schools, are we making sure that those siblings are not coming into those school buildings because they should be out? If they're,
No.
well, they should be out because their child is.
What the Department of Health has asked of us is that we contact trace students who are positive cases. What that means is proximity on the bus, proximity in classrooms,
Yeah.
cafeterias, hallway, well, not hallways, but they ask us to participate in the tracing around that. They are in charge of any other tracing, family members, siblings, any other incidents outside of school. The reason for that is it could potentially be that a sibling does or doesn't live in a household with them. They could live with a step-parent, or they were somewhere else for the 48 hours prior to that. But that being said, we were talking a little bit offline beforehand. A little system of checks and balances there is relevant.
Yeah.
Right now, we've just gone over 100. We're about 105 positive cases that we've had this year already, with thousands of kids who have been traced as a component of that. And it is, to a great extent, overwhelming for the people that are doing that work, both in the classrooms, because they got to remember where every person was, right? Remember where everyone was within the context of a day, and then the nurses and support staff are doing that. So, but Kristen, I'll add that to our thought process as
Yeah.
we're thinking that through.
I know it's a lot, but I
Yeah.
can see that being an issue in some cases.
Yep.
And the kids can test out, if they're in quarantine, to get back to school quicker after 6 days, right? Is that what it is, that they can test? And then usually it's 2 days to get results, so they can come back on day 8, so they don't have to quarantine for the entire 10 days? Correct, I'm saying, right, if you're fully vaccinated, you don't,
It does, doesn't it?
what's that?
Whether they're vaccinated or not, it matters in that mix.
Yeah, if you're vaccinated, you don't have to quarantine. If you're not vaccinated, it's 6 days is the early test out, correct? And you can come back at day 8 if you're negative?
Yep, the new protocol is they can test anytime after day 6, and they may not return until after day 7, which is 12:01 on day 8.
Okay.
So you're exactly right. They test 6 or 7, and right now, the tests that we're administering are coming back in 24 to 30 hours. So if someone were to test on day 6, unless it's a weekend, the weekend messes with everything because they're going to a lab where they have to be doing the work. They've been pretty good about getting them back to us. The other thing that parents have the ability to do is to be tested anywhere. They could go and do a rapid antigen test or a PCR test elsewhere if they wanted to do so. They could go to Greene County, they have the bus in Greene County, or they could go to Well Now or First Stop Medical and also do that, and they would just provide the test results to their the school nurse.
But they still have to wait those 6 days,
They
correct?
still have to wait until 6 days to be tested, and then day 8. We've probably tested about 40 people, between 40 and 50 students and staff so far since we started last week, which is a great start. And we've primarily been focused on diagnostic testing at this point. That means that someone is symptomatic. They're sick, either in school or outside of school. If they're sick outside of school, we meet them outside and do the swab outside. If they're sick in school, we try and do it prior to them leaving. What that does is, if the test is negative, that means the test coming back in 24 to 30 hours. As soon as they're well, they can return to school. Before that, they had to wait 10 days, get tested somewhere else, or get an alternative diagnosis. So we've already, as I said, even with the test to return, if we shave days 8, 9, 10, 3 days off of quarantine for the next 100 kids, that's 300 days of school that we've recovered. And if kids can come back right after they're well, if they were sick but didn't have COVID, that's thousands of days in the next 2 months. So it's good to get the ball rolling. We have about 130 people who've registered for testing like that on campus right now, students and staff. So ideally, if people need us, they'll register and they'll sign up to do that.
And that's exactly what I wanted to bring up. I have 2 of those 50 tests in my family. My children, showing symptoms at school. The ability to work with the nurses, I want to give I know there's tons of other people involved, but the nurses and how they helped me sign up through the website. My daughter was picked up and went to the middle school, tested on Thursday, back in school on Monday. My son, the same exact thing. It was between 24 and 30 hours. Couldn't get an appointment anywhere in town. Was able to come to school to do it. Absolutely phenomenal. And I know that that's a huge thing for the nurses to be taking over. And I really hope that we're taking care of them and everybody appreciates all that they do, because that is a huge, huge undertaking for them to do. So thank you to the administration of the district for the opportunity. It was much, much easier in my family.
The only stumbling block we've discovered so far is testing on Friday, because it isn't time conservative. The results are coming back so late that, but Thursday testing is
right?
good. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Monday through Thursday, we've been doing it so far.
Okay. Anything else from board members? We will turn it over to Dr. Bailey.
I was going to talk about COVID testing, so thank you.
Good segue.
Yeah.
You got that out of the way.
Yeah.
Mr. Regular.
Sweet. I just wanted to thank teachers, administrators, families for kind of doing a little bit of a pivot on Parent-Teacher Conference Day. We had some tech difficulties, so virtual conferences there was a little hiccup in the morning, but we just, we're resilient at this point, and so we were able to meet. And meeting virtually is maybe one of the silver linings of COVID, so families don't have to necessarily leave work, and we've seen engagement that way. I won't go into all of the events, the holiday events, but there's lots of concerts and activities going on. You've probably seen and heard some of those, so even if we end a little early tonight and Peter B. is down at the auditorium, we can stop by and listen to them as well. And then I just wanted to mention one other thing. Some of the families have brought up in some of our board meetings regarding the status of our library and book exchange at our elementary schools. So please know that we are working on that. We have some really great creative ideas on how to do a book exchange, and we should be starting that in January. And I'll stop there.
Something real quick. Feedback is, again, we got rescheduled for our parent-teacher conference because of the outage. my concern is, and I don't know, we chose to do it virtually, and we ended up meeting the teacher on their own time on another day after school. Are they being anyway, and maybe not compensated financially, but is there anything that we're doing for them? I don't know how many of these virtual meetings each teacher might have. Maybe it was just one, maybe it's they all have 20, and do they have to make that up on their own time? Did that make sense?
Yeah, I typically just from experience as a teacher in elementary school and then also principal, often what will occur is, teachers are trying to be as responsive to family needs as possible.
Right.
So if they are scheduling them outside of the scheduled workday, then they're able to utilize that time to do other things like planning or professional development. So it's kind of if they're meeting with parents outside of the scheduled time, then they're utilizing it for other professional things that they might want to get to. Does that make sense?
No, I don't understand that.
So like if I have a parent-teacher conference day, which some teachers do back to back to back all day long.
Right.
What some other teachers will do is they'll meet outside of that day, freeing up time within that day to get to other things that they
Right.
want to be able to
But
get to.
that day was wiped out because of Wi-Fi.
Just in the most teachers were able to meet if they were scheduled. It was in the morning specifically when we were running around.
So the general answer is that there wasn't a huge, upset in teacher workload or being extended day.
The first hour was all hands on deck. We were
Right.
running with hotspots around the district and
ours
devices
just
and all
ours
that.
was off.
2 hours?
It was just the timing of ours got pushed, and it just didn't work out because it was remote. And I just realized the next day when we were meeting, wow, it's 4 o'clock. These people are here past 4 o'clock, and I know that their day is over. I just wanted to make sure that wasn't happening widespread, and people are now
Not that
overloaded or. Okay. Thank you.
Fred, I saw sign up toy drive. Is that something the community can help support at all, or is that just for students?
I don't know about the toy drive. Is it through a club? Tina, do you remember?
What was the question? I'm sorry.
Toy drive?
I'm thinking.
Like a Toys for Tots type of thing? or-
Mm-hmm. I've signed so many fundraiser requests right now. I'm trying to place whose it was. Do you remember, Tina?
I just saw it as I walked in, so I didn't know if that was something the
Gotcha,
community
gotcha.
could support.
I'll look into it and try to get it out, a blast out on social media.
Okay,
regarding
sounds good.
that. I do know there was a door decorating contest here at the high school, which a lot of students and teachers got into. That was fun. But not that I know. I'll look into it.
Okay,
Alright.
we're all set. Mrs. Moran?
Yep, I'll just give a quick update, right, the things with budget season, so that's always what we're working on, right, starting that, we're doing negotiations, but next time we meet, I'll give you a 10-year foundation aid overview and some of the changes of the working formula foundation aid and how it may impact us in the 22-23 school year as well as in the future. We are going through somewhat of a paper, not a shortage, but there are some limitations on the amount of copy paper that's available. We had an update today. We get all of our copy through a bid purchase through WB Mason. They're having a hard time with getting the materials to make the paper. So again, it's another one of those shortages, but we have reached out to 2 other providers. So we'll be getting hopefully 4 pallets of paper, which is about 40 times 4, so 160 cases, and we'll be distributing them equally among the buildings. And we are going to stay on it. WB Mason, who's a huge provider to schools, what they're doing to meet the need, because it's not just us that has need for paper, other districts do, and as the paper comes in, they are going to just continuously on a rotating basis send it to each school as we can get it in. So we've reached out, like I said, 2 other providers to get another, I believe, 4 pallets that we'll have before the beginning of January. That should get us through February, and then hopefully by then we'll have another update by then. So we are working on it, and that's it.
Yellow at my school.
Yellow, I'll
Principal
check on that
basically
and I'll
asked
let
me
you
to
know.
deal with yellow. I
Get
was
some nice
just like, I
pale
don't
green,
care.
yeah, we'll get some other
Get
copy.
the yellow. I
there.
bet you they have yellow. They don't have white. They got
There
yellow.
you go.
Everything being virtual, right? And
One would think.
School colors on it.
I mean, I don't use paper hardly at all anymore.
Elementary.
Well, you're still using
Right, I mean,
chalk
that's
and a chalkboard, right?
He's not chalkboard, he's
He hasn't got
tablet.
the paper
Individual
yet.
tablets,
He's got,
yes.
he's got the stone.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know elementary does, but I don't think high school would be using it as much, probably, right?
All right. New business,
I
anybody have
have
anything?
one thing for new business. Unless you want, you can go first.
The new business I wanted to at least put on for discussion is, we've talked about the district Wi-Fi for years and years and years about improving it. And I think we've talked about in the past about opening it up for a guest Wi-Fi. Other schools seem to have it. I don't think we do, but I think we should need to look at it. And the more important piece is, for the folks that are working here, finding out that they don't have access for their own personal devices to a district Wi-Fi is unfathomable for me, because even at my work at the state, I can get on my own Wi-Fi there. We should be able to build the correct security platform, if we have to have it, in order for them to allow them to connect their devices to it. Perfect, for instance, when last Monday or whatever with the conferences, when the Wi-Fi went down or whatever, I know that there were staff that had to go outside of Becker because their connectivity is so bad within the building to complete those conferences, right? And I'm not saying that, I mean, obviously with the Wi-Fi being down, it wouldn't have made a difference, but it just highlights the fact that we've got to think like a 20, it's almost 2,100,
We'll tell our
2,200.
students.
My phone didn't work in the concession stand the other day.
But
I couldn't-
you know what I mean?
Veronica said, call for pizzas. I said, I don't have any service on my phone.
So I know,
Wandering around and.
I know we've made improvements, so if we can, maybe Bill can do a presentation, maybe we can talk about what the next plans are for that?
Yeah, every other district has a bring your own device network as well as a guest network. I didn't realize we don't.
I was just actually talking about that a week and a half ago before the parent conference issue. I was same wonderings, Bill.
Yeah,
Because I think our infrastructure is in very good shape right now. We spent a lot of effort prior to having to go to the shutdown with the Chromebook issues, with all the Chromebooks.
Mhm.
So I think our infrastructure is prepared to do that. We'll have something for you when we
Okay.
come back together.
Just getting to the next level.
Yeah,
Right.
it doesn't all happen at once.
Okay.
No, I don't necessarily expect there to be an answer, but I was wondering if you could look into, I had 2 different parents ask me about authorization forms that were sent home because their child has an IEP for Medicaid. And both of those parents were like, we have private insurance, we would never be eligible for that. I don't know why I would sign an authorization about that. So I'm just curious if this is something, I mean, Medicaid's never bulk, it would be tied to the individual. So if that family has no access to that, why would we be having them sign any kind of authorization? That seems a little concerning.
Have them, I'll look into it. In the meantime, have them call the Student Support Services office, and if they don't have an answer, have them call me.
Well, they did, they contacted, and what they were told was that this wasn't based on their child, that it was for the district to seek reimbursement. But that didn't seem to mesh with my knowledge of Medicaid.
Sure. Yeah, that's a good question.
Okay. Anybody else have any other items for new business?
Can I just jump in real quick? So I found out about toys. So the French Club is collecting toys for tots. We'll put information out there. And then also from all of my friends who were so kind to me, Peter B is also doing a hat and mitten drive, and the middle school is doing a hat and mitten drive. So we'll put that out there as well.
Okay. Thank you. Anything to discuss on any of these old business topics? Any updates? No.
But I know we talked about it before. The student emails here, the fact that they can't receive any email from outside the district.
Right, and their personal.
Have we ever gotten anywhere with that? Because
Bill looked into the person who mentioned that, and the website identified it as someone who, not technical term, but had included too many emails in the address, meaning that it looked like a spam attack when they did that. I don't know how many emails.
No, that's not what I mean. I mean, I can't email my own student, my own kid, unless I do it from my board email. I can't do it from my Averill Park email or any other email. The colleges can't email the kids. So there's.
Oh, I understand what you're asking.
There's no way for the kids to be able to receive emails from outside the district, which you know, when you get to be a junior or senior and you're trying to
Yeah.
apply to college, it's kind of important.
Understood, yeah.
It's like that EP too, right?
I don't know.
I know at the middle school it is.
That's it, I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, I know they
Yeah, but that
recommend,
might be
like,
like
when
a
you're
Google thing, maybe.
colleges, you use.
It might be beyond us.
personal email, not school email.
Do you, I'll find out. I was gonna say, you also work in schools, I don't know, and you definitely have Gmail Suite for enterprise for schools.
Yeah.
I'll find out, and I know obviously there are some things that we whitelist so that they can get through the filters, but it would be very difficult in the context of a recruiter or something like that, so I'll look into it.
Wonder if it was like a .edu
Well, I
or,
think it
you know,
goes into
something.
the
Right.
same thing that I was talking about before, it goes into the IT infrastructure and the security.
Profiles, I think you can build something, Jason probably is very familiar with this, but you can build packages where it can read the email addresses and make certain decisions about them. It's no different than a spam filter.
Okay. Good. No BOE committee reports, we have no policy adoption review. No hearings and petitions, upcoming activities. Yes, it's that time already. We have holiday recess starting next Friday through the new year. So a nice week off for both kids and staff. Our-
That counts. Every night?
Almost.
Almost.
Well, that's good to hear.
It's good to hear that there's concerts
Tomorrow,
back.
Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday is the makeup concert for Peterbury.
Great.
Great,
Yep.
okay. There's a lot of concerts. Our next BOE meeting will be January 5th in the new year.
Yeah, bye.
Here in the high school, oh no, we're out of time. We do not need to go into executive session. I need a motion to adjourn the meeting. Mr. McFerrin, Mrs. Klein, all in favor? Aye.